Tonight in the shop, we're going to be cutting up some 1/4-inch plate steel. Now, back in the day, long before we had plasma cutters and laser cutters that could slice steel, we used oxyacetylene torches. And still to this day, especially out in the field, an oxyacetylene torch is a great way to cut really thick metals. We got a plate back here that measures 3 by 8, and we got about 240, 250 pounds of solid steel here that we're going to be cutting. Luckily, we have a forklift available at our disposal. So when we set up our oxyacetylene torch, remember the numbers 5, 6. Think of the Tri-5 Chevys, 55, 56, 57. Remember, 5, 6, middle one. Set your acetylene at 5 psi, your oxygen at 60 psi. 5, 6, 0. That's the pressures you want to be using on your oxyacetylene torch. You can play with them from there, but that's a great starting point. 5 psi on your acetylene, 60 psi on your oxygen. So here we got our torch. This is a welding torch. This is not what we want to use on this. Make sure our valves are closed. We're going to take this tip off of it. This is a cutting torch. You can see that? You got a lever. You got nozzles. You want to make sure the holes are clean on your nozzle. Screw this on. You don't need a wrench to tighten this, just hand tight. If you put a wrench on it, it's brass that seals it up. If you put a wrench on it, you distort that brass. So what we're going to do, remember those numbers 5, 6? What we want to do is get is what's called a neutral flame. We're going to lead in with our acetylene. We're going to have a bright orange flame. From there, we're going to start flooding our oxygen in. What you want to do, if you look closely now, you want to use a shield on your lens, at least a grade 5 or grade 8. Don't look at this with your bare eyes. And you're going to see 2 distinct flames in there. What you want to do is add enough oxygen so the first flame meets up with a secondary flame. When those 2 come together, that's a neutral flame. What we're going to do is preheat the metal first, and when it starts to get red, we're going to pull our oxygen lever. What that's going to do is flood oxygen right to the center, essentially inducing a plasma that's going to just slice right through that steel like butter. I cannot emphasize enough the proper use of PPE. You want to protect yourself. This process is going to make a lot of sparks, a lot of heat, a lot of flames. So, very rarely do I button up the top buttons, but if I can, in this process, I will, because if those sparks go down your neck, they burn. Get yourself a flame-resistant welding jacket. Get your striker ready. What I like to do is have a guide. I like to have a guide to rest my hand on. These are our big gloves. I like these. Give you a good amount of protection. We're about ready to go hot. On this, you're going to open up your green. That's your oxygen valve. You're going to open that up all the way. Your actual oxygen is going to be controlled by this one up here. So we're going to control our acetylene on the red line here, crack it just a hair where you can hear it hissing, light it up, and then I'm going to show you how we adjust it. That's our acetylene. Slowly crack the oxygen open. I don't know if you can see that long flame in the middle. Bring that in. Add more acetylene. Once we add more acetylene, add more oxygen. More acetylene. More oxygen. to the end of a cut. Make sure you're paying attention to your hoses and your feet are. When you're cutting something that's heavy, make sure you got steel toe boots on too. And that's how you cut 1/4 inch plate.